Before the video starts, I just want to let you know that for some reason most of my clips come out looking like pixel art. I record using Shadowplay, so I don't know why it's doing this. I think it's because my PC is getting a little old and it might not be able to run certain stuff without imploding. I don't know why it's doing this and I can't change it, so I'm apologising in advance for the video quality. I hope you enjoy the video. I don't think this game could be great now. I think it can be decent if they keep making the changes they have in the next 3 seasons. So, that didn't happen. Season 4 has had the most content out of all seasons, and yet I feel like I've played less than any other season. I was going to do a first impressions video, but all I wrote down was, wow, I hate this so bad. I can't believe that before launch I was really hyped up for the game because of how horrendous it has got. And it's not because of the glitches or the matchmaking or the balancing or the hacker. Okay, so there is a lot of problems, but before I talk about that, I want to talk about some of the good stuff. There were some new weapons added. The C58, MG82, the nail gun and the OTS-9, and a mace, but I don't care about melee weapons. They're okay. It's nice to have something to level up and grind for camos, but it's in this game so it isn't that fun. There was a new kill streak added, the hand cannon. It's good, maybe a little overpowered.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I wonder. Oh, shit!
It's pretty much Seraph's Annihilator from Black Ops 3. Because you're going to get it every game through the score streak system. It also makes a pretty nice sound when you get a kill.
Nice.
There were some new operators added, which would be cool if you care about skins. Speaking of skins, they finally added some for prestiging, which gives you some more endgame rewards, rather than just some banners and icons. You know, like actual rewards. There were only 2 when I checked. The battle pass was okay again, but I didn't want to buy it because I don't want to spend any more money on the game. Something I forgot to mention in my Season 3 video was that they added arcade games, so you can play something fun in between getting smashed by SBMM. There was also an event, Groundfall, which had some challenges you could complete for a skin. It was okay, I guess. I don't play Warzone, so I had to play Satlink, which is a new mode for Fireteam. From what I played, it pretty much is a reskin of Dirty Bomb, with a few small changes. It's still kind of fun. It's very hard to find things to like in this game because of how miserable things can get, and things get miserable pretty quick. The second you start the game, you're met with a screen showing new skins. No new features or updates, just skins for guns and operators. It's pretty obvious what they want you to focus on. Want a decent balancing update? Nah, how about some more skins? This has been disappointing to play. There is barely anything worth staying for. Maybe the camos or dark matter, but there is no real end game. There's no completion goals or 100% in the game. The prestige system was bad for the first 3 seasons. There was no reward for doing it, apart from 1 skin. The skin challenges aren't good either. They feel like chores. It makes the process of getting camos boring. I mean, the whole game is boring. The first time I realised the game was really uninteresting was, well, to be honest, when it launched. But it was really when they added Standoff, and I said, oh, that's cool. And that's when I realised that I wasn't excited for the game. Standoff is one of my favourite maps from Black Ops 2, and I feel like I should have been hyped for it to be added to this game, and I wasn't. I was like, oh, that's cool. And the same happened again with Hijacked. When I saw it was going to be added, I said to myself, oh, that's cool. When Rush was added, I didn't even react. It was just another remake being added to the game. Speaking of remakes, there are 6 remakes in the game. There are 19 maps in total, so 31% of the maps are remakes. Now, to be honest, the remakes and the new maps are decent. Some are better than others, and some are much worse. But as a whole, they're okay. It's just the game they're in is so bad. There have been 238 days since Cold War released, and we've been given 11 new maps. Well, 6 have been remakes, but comparing it to Black Ops 2, there had only been 231 days and the 3rd map pack, Vengeance, was released, and by that time the game had 13 maps added, with 5 maps being remakes from previous CODs in that game, but they only made up about 18% of all the maps. There's also the fact that the game they were added into was good. There are still balancing issues with most of the guns. Some weapons are so overpowered that it's a detriment if you don't use them. And some guns feel so useless that it's not even worth trying. I haven't seen the Groza since Season 1. Another big thing which has loomed over this game is SBMM. The fact that every single game you join will probably be full of sweats just makes the game unfun. You might get the rare game where the SBMM is in your favour, but then it doesn't really feel enjoyable either because you're just pounding noobs over and over again. And it never feels really rewarding to do that. You know that they're probably just less skilled or new to the game. Then after 1 or 2 games, the SBMM kicks back in and you're thrown into the mosh pit of corner campers and CDL sweats again. So I might get 1 to 5 games in before I just call it quits. I don't think I would have got as many hours played on this game as I have if my friends weren't online. We pretty much use it as kind of a scuffed Discord server.
Hello, man, do you want sex?
Because some of my mates are on console and some are on PC, so we just use the in-game chat for that, and we just have a laugh. I don't think if we had the year we had, I would have played the game past launch. Another small thing that I've been noticing more and more as time goes on is that the game's performance is getting worse. There's either a slight drop in frames or maybe a bit of server lag, and although it's a minor problem, it does get annoying when it happens in nearly every game. Then there is the spawn system. I don't think I've played a multiplayer game with worse spawn systems than this. There has been more than a handful of times where I've spawned on the same side as an enemy, and had them kill me, you know, because I expect to spawn at the same side as my team. There are so many more little things which are infuriating, like the name tags. Sometimes they won't appear until you're close enough or zoomed in on them. So sometimes you'll go to shoot an enemy and your teammate's name tag will pop up, and it works the other way because you'll think that it's your teammate and the name tag hasn't appeared, but there'll be an enemy and they'll have killed you before you even realise. I haven't really talked about the zombies because I haven't played a whole lot of it, but from what I have played, the gameplay is fun, but it's still quite boring to me, and that's because there's no characters to bring life into the mode. The interesting characters have just been replaced by, like, hollows that are the operators.
Fuck you.
They'll spout a voice line every now and then, but there's no real soul to them. They haven't got a character. The story feels dull and boring because there's no stakes. You don't care about the characters you're playing as or the people you're helping. You could replace the operators with anyone from any of the past crews and the story would be a whole lot better because of the characters. Dempsey, Richtof and Nikolai and Takio made the zombies mode for me. The banter they have between each other and the reactions to literally anything happening has more soul and life than this game does in its entirety. Outbreak was an interesting addition, but when that's the only thing you're going to give Zombies fans in Season 3, I don't think it's enough to carry it. I like the actual gameplay of the Zombies mode, but I never want to go back as much as I had with past CODs. Maybe to try and beat the Easter egg, but that's probably the only reason. There had been very little content added to the mode. There was 2 seasons where no new map was added. There was Outbreak, but it should be treated as like a side game or a mini game, kind of like Dead Ops Arcade, rather than its own story because it doesn't have one. Firebase Z was added on the 4th of February, and Maya der Toten, the next full Zombies map, was added on the 15th of July. A full 23 weeks, 161 days, 3,864 hours, basically a really long time had passed in between Zombies maps. If I solely played Treyarch games for the Zombies mode, there is a large community of people who do that, I wouldn't be happy that over half a year later, we only have 3 full playable maps, 4 if you count Outbreak. Again, with Black Ops 2, they had at launch Green Run, which had the big map Transit, and then Bus Depot, Town and Farm. The smaller maps added a little bit of variety, as well as the other mode, Grief, which was added at launch as well. I understand that it's not a popular mode, but at least there was a choice. And by roughly the same time in both games' life cycles, Black Ops 2 had 5 full Zombies maps, 10 if you include the smaller maps, and 12 if you include Grief only maps. And on top of that, there was a new mode, Turned, which was added as a DLC mode, whilst Cold War has 3 full Zombies maps, 9 if you want to include all the Outbreak maps, 10 if you include Dead Ops Arcade, I guess. The output of content on the multiplayer front as well as the Zombies front is just lazy, and I guess I'm basically saying bad game is still bad. Now, whilst I was writing the script for this video, a lawsuit was launched against Activision Blizzard. The lawsuit states that conditions in the offices at Activision Blizzard were awful, specifically for women. The documents allege that staff drank and played games whilst working, which explains why this game feels so unfinished. But what was worse was hearing how they treated women. There are allegations of sexual assault by male employees, as well as the suicide of a female employee on a business trip. And it's not bad, it's sickening to think about what has happened. Mutahar from Some Ordinary Gamers said it best when he said,
"The only way this company is ever going to fucking learn from anyone is when people uninstall Warzone, when people uninstall Diablo 3, when people uninstall Overwatch, when people uninstall World of Warcraft, okay? Some of their biggest heavy-hitting games. Listen, I'm a huge Diablo 3 fan.
I really think a boycott of their games would hurt Activision, because even if you buy the games and don't buy any of the cosmetics, you're still supporting them. The more people they have playing the games, the better the stats look for their investors. So they're still making money off you. So I won't be playing COD anymore, and that's why I'm not reviewing any more seasons. And to be honest, it isn't going to be hard for me to stop playing this mess of a game.